Welcome back to DAGryffyn Hobby. My name's Dave. This weekend was the Railroad Hobby Show, held by the Amherst Railway Society in West Springfield, Massachusetts. This was my second time visiting this show, and I had a fantastic time. My buddy Nick from Nick's Crossing came up Friday night so that he could come with me because I guess, 6 hours or something from his house would have been too far. So he came up here. We left 5:30 in the morning so that we could get to the show in Massachusetts when it started. It was an utterly exhausting day, but absolutely worth every second. If you haven't been up to this Amherst show, it's amazing. It's just an absolutely huge show. 4 buildings, but unlike York, they're really close together, so you're not stuck walking miles between each one. It was a little cold. I think it was like 9 degrees in the morning when we got there, so standing in line kind of stunk, but the excitement kind of outweighed the negatives of standing out there waiting for our wristbands. There was a lot to see, especially in just one day. It's a 2-day show, so if you can go for 2 days, you probably should, but we were only going for 1 day. And there was so much to see that we probably missed a good chunk of it. But we tried. We walked through all the halls to get kind of a feeling of what was there, see what was for sale, maybe pick up a couple of items. And then after a trip back to the car to put our purchases away, we went back in and tried to film as much of the layouts as we could. And I know I definitely missed at least a few layouts, if not more. I don't know how many there were, but they were all amazing. So some of the layouts, when I was trying to film, there were no trains running, so that always makes it difficult. And then some of them I got so sucked into that I forgot I should probably go check others out. So if I missed your club's layout, I'm sorry. I'll try to do a better job next time. One of the things we saw was probably the biggest G-scale layout I have ever seen. And one of my favorites was a Pennsylvania ABBA set of F3s and 84 or 87 ore cars behind it. And in G-scale, that is just, you have to experience it. It was just crazy to see. Friday night, before the show, we went up to visit Tom's Trains in Ardsley, New York. A great store, a little unassuming from outside. It kind of looks like a basement door in an alley, but it's a fantastic place. I've done a video at Tom's before, and I took some photos this time, which will be in a later video probably. But we did a little shopping, and I did come home with something. And it was in an orange box here. It's a Baldwin Locomotive Works I-12 caboose. Very unique looking caboose. I loved the color, and from what I understand, Baltimore and Ohio was one of the few, if only, railroads that ran this type of caboose. So even though it doesn't say on it Baltimore and Ohio, since it's kind of like a demonstrator type model, I figured it's a great choice to run with my Baltimore and Ohio engines. And it's blue, and it's a caboose, and it's gorgeous. And there it is. It's really a great looking caboose. I love the blue. The white ends are a great contrast. There's an interior in there. There's a guy sitting at the window, and I just really, really liked the design. It was a modular built caboose and kind of a wagon style rounded edge. So very neat and unique, at least as far as my collection is concerned. And this is a Boston and Maine from the post-war era that Nick was kind enough to donate to my collection. I had a Burlington version of this engine early on that I had purchased, fixed up, and sold. And every once in a while I'm kind of upset that I sold it. But this one, the colors are great. It's such a good looking engine. And Nick did a bunch of work to it, added LEDs, stuff like that. I'm happy to have one of these back in my collection, and I'm pretty sure I'll be running this quite a bit. Before I get to what I purchased at the show, this sort of counts. I purchased this next item from Art's Model Trains. He was selling off some of his MPC stuff, and knew that I wanted this car, so he held it back for me, and I bought it from him while we were at Amherst. And that would be the dining car for my Blue Comet, which I have been looking for a long time. So thank you, Art. I am psyched to be adding this to my collection. I've had a little bit of an infatuation with the Corgi buses recently. I want to do a bunch of lights and interiors and people, set up kind of a bus depot. So I wanted a few different road names, a few different buses, so that there's some color variety and interest. So I picked up this Baltimore and Ohio from Grabowski's, and I'm psyched to have it. This one's a little different than the ones I do have, or at least that I've taken apart, in that it's only got the two headlights. So I'm not entirely sure how the base is going to come off this. None of them come off easy. You usually have to drill out rivets and then figure out how the front of the bus is held together, and it's usually some sort of plastic pin through the front of the bus. And the one with the four lights, it's usually the lower lights that act as like a locator pin for the front. This, I'm thinking maybe the front bumper. But now I've picked up a few buses recently, so I'm really looking forward to doing the lights and the passengers and some interior detailing on these buses. A big show like this, and I really wasn't shopping, at least not hardcore. I was kind of just wandering around, just taking it all in, and if something caught my attention, I'd take a look. Now, there is something I've been casually looking for on eBay recently, and that would be another K-Line GP38 to go with the Reading one that I purchased quite a while back. I don't see them much, and I certainly haven't seen another Reading unit, which is what I'd like to get, is a second Reading unit, and so I can double head the two GP38s together. But what I did see was another road name that is equally fantastic for me, and that would be a Jersey Central K-Line GP38, and that's what this is. And this one has TMCC, and this is another purchase from Grabowski's. So they always have great stuff, and I can't not check out what they have. I mean, really, if there was a show and there were only 3 vendors and one of them was Grabowski's, I would probably still come home with a bunch of stuff. So there we go, a nice Jersey Central GP38. Great green. I love the contrast of the yellow on the front and the back and the logo. Other GP38 is conventional, and I've been considering adding an ERR Cruise Commander or something like that. I think it would be really cool to be able to double head these, even though they're not the same road name. I don't care. It's my layout. They're both green, so it works for me. I haven't tried this yet. Switch is set to rail sounds. Switch is set to run. I'm going to put it up there and see if it will operate based on the first 2 numbers on the cab, and that would be 26, so let's see what happens. All right, let's give it some power. Engine 26. Engine 26. No. Engine 60. No. Engine 09. Nothing. I guess I'll have to program it. Program. It's been a while. Do I remember how to program? Let's see. Track 1. I think boost. Engine 26. And set. That's a good sign. Okay, it's back on run. Let's see what happens. It works, but there's some sparking happening up on that front truck, so I'm going to take a look at that before I blow anything up. I cleaned off the front pickup roller with a little bit of contact cleaner. It was definitely filthy. It's still sparking a little bit. It probably could use a new roller on the front truck. So it's a nice runner. It looks great. Looks to be in great condition, other than that front roller anyway. At the moment, I'm going to run it the way it is because I like it the way it is, and it cost me less than $200. So I am a happy camper. The only things I really would probably want to change are the lights because they're just too dull. I put LEDs in my Reading unit, and I'll probably do the same to this. But this is a pretty cool engine. I'm glad I found one at Grabowski's instead of having to look on eBay. And well, of course, now that I said that, I'm going to want to continue looking on eBay and see if I can find a second one. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on DAGryffyn Hobby.